lease as a result of Mr. Donovan's motion earlier this week.
Okay. Mr. Miller.
Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, the airport undertakes appraisals for the leasing, purchase, or disposal of property with a varying range of guidelines. For airside appraisals, we commission one appraiser with the expertise in airside regulations and restrictions. For federally and state-assisted land acquisitions, we use the federal guidelines for one appraisal and one review appraisal. For non-federal and state land purchase projects and for general land leasing projects, the airport typically uses a single appraisal system. When the need for an appraisal for the subject property was requested of staff, they were undertaking an approach for the appraisal of the new rental car service facility sites that used two simultaneous independent appraisals with an independent third review appraisal. When they received my request, they included the subject property appraisal in this process. When staff received the appraisals, they were filed in anticipation of the future lease negotiations. I do know that at some point, for an indeterminate amount of time, the review appraisal for the subject property was misfiled in the rental car appraisal file. Since Mr. Brantley also provided the review appraisal for the rental car sites, I can only speculate that this was the factor in its being misfiled. I do not have any knowledge whether the second appraisal was misfiled. I typically ask clerical staff to provide me with items from the airport central files or to copy and forward items as needed. When negotiations were commencing with Innisfree Development, I would have used standard practice and requested a copy of the appraisal be copied and sent to Innisfree. In reflecting on this, I realized the clerical staff would not have been aware of multiple appraisals and most likely provided the top document from the files, which I speculate was Mr. Asmar's appraisal. The staff who commissioned the appraisals and who knew of the multiple appraisals were not involved in the lease negotiations and were unaware of my request for the appraisal to be sent to Innisfree. I can only think that I did not recall the new appraisal process and entered into good faith negotiations with Innisfree based on the appraisal given to me. In hindsight, I clearly recognize that it would have been prudent to ask for the entire file. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, I apologize to you and to Mr. McQueen for adding controversy to what should have been a straightforward lease approval process.